Chester's Way by Kevin Hanks. Chester had his own way of doing things. And the little picture says, "Hello, my name is Chester. I like crochet and peanut butter and making my bed." Sounds to me like Chester's a goody two-shoes. Alright, he always cut his sandwiches diagonally. He always got out at the same side of the bed. He never left his house without double knotting his shoes. Chester always had the same thing for breakfast, toast with jam and peanut butter. He always carried a miniature first aid kit in his back pocket, just in case. "You definitely have a mind of your own," said Chester's mother. "That's one way of putting it," said Chester's father. Chester is quite the fun individual. Chester's best friend, Wilson, was exactly the same way. That's why they were best friends. Chester wouldn't play baseball unless Wilson played, and they never swung at the first pitch or slid head first. Wilson wouldn't ride his bike unless Chester wanted to, and they would always use hand signals. If Chester was hungry, Wilson was too. They rarely ate between meals. "Sometimes I can't tell those two apart," said Wilson's mother. "Me either," said Wilson's father. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. They loved to go on picnics. Once when Wilson accidentally swallowed a watermelon seed and cried because he was afraid a watermelon plant would grow inside of him, Chester swallowed one too. "Don't worry," said Chester. "Now if you grow a watermelon plant, I'll grow one too." Chester duplicated his Christmas list every year and gave a copy to Wilson because they always wanted the same exact things. For Halloween, they always dressed as the same things that went together: salt and pepper shakers, 2 mittens on a string, ham and eggs. "They really are 2 peas in a pod," said Chester's mother. "Looks like it," says Chester's father. The salt and pepper picture is the cutest one. Isn't that adorable? In the spring, Chester and Wilson shared the same umbrella. In the winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In fall, they raked leaves together. In the summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester and Wilson, Wilson and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Lily moved into the neighborhood. Lily had her own way of doing things. And the caption next to Lily says, "I'm Lily. I am the queen. I like everything." Oh, sounds like a little brat to me. She wore band-aids all over her arms and legs to look brave. She talked backwards to herself sometimes so no one would know what she's saying. She never left the house without one of her many nifty disguises. Lily waved at all the cars that passed by, even if she didn't know who they were. She always carried a loaded squirt gun in her back pocket, just in case. "She definitely has a mind of her own," said Chester. "That's one way to put it," said Wilson. Lily sounds just like me when I was little. Sometimes I still do wave at other cars, especially if they're laughing at me because I'm dancing in the car. When Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said they were busy. When she called them on the phone, they disguised their voices and said they weren't home. If Lily was walking on one side of the street, Wilson and Chester crossed to the other and hid. "She's something else," said Chester. "Looks like it," said Wilson. They're jerks, Wilson and Chester. Dang. I don't like them. One day, while Chester and Wilson were practicing their hand signals, some older boys rode by, popping wheelies. They circled Chester and Wilson and yelled personal remarks. Chester and Wilson did not know what to do. Just when they were about to give up hope, a fierce-looking cat with horrible fangs jumped out of the bushes and frightened the older boys. "Are you who I think you are?" Chester asked the cat. "Of course," the cat replied. "Thank you, Lily," said Chester. "You're welcome, Chester," said Lily. "Thank you, Lily," said Wilson. "You're welcome, Wilson," said Lily. I'm glad you were wearing a disguise, said Chester. I'm glad you had a squirt gun, said Wilson. I always do, said Lily, just in case. Afterward, Chester invited Lily over for lunch. You have a muscle mouse cup, said Lily. Of course, said Chester. I do too, said Lily. Same here, said Wilson. Chester and Wilson cut their sandwiches diagonally. Lily asked Chester's mother if she had cookie cutters, and she made stars and flowers and bells. That's neat, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. That night, Lily invited Chester and Wilson for a sleepover. You have a nightlight, said Chester. Of course, said Lily. I do too, said Chester. Same here, said Wilson. Wilson and Chester wanted toast with jam and peanut butter for breakfast the next morning. Boring, said Lily. You should try this instead. This is good, said Chester. Wow, said Wilson. And in the picture, it's toast with cereal, strawberries, and orange slices. After that, when Lily asked Chester and Wilson to play, they said yes. When she called them up on the phone, they had pleasant conversations. And if Lily was walking on one side of the street, Chester and Wilson waved and ran to catch up with her. Chester and Wilson taught Lily hand signals, and she taught them how to pop wheelies. Lily taught Chester and Wilson how to talk backwards, and they taught her how to double knot her shoes. Some days I can't tell the three apart, said Lily's mother. Me either, said Lily's father. Chester, Wilson, and Lily. Lily, Wilson, and Chester. That's the way it was. For Halloween, they dressed up as three blind mice. For Christmas, Lily gave Chester and Wilson nifty disguises, and they gave her a box of multicolored shoelaces, extra long for double knotting. They loved going on picnics. When Chester and Wilson told Lily how they each swallowed a watermelon seed once, Lily swallowed 3 of them. I'll grow a watermelon plant for each of us, she said. In the spring, Chester, Wilson, and Lily shared the same umbrella. In the winter, they never threw snowballs at each other. In the fall, they raked leaves together. And in the summer, they reminded each other to wear sunscreen so they wouldn't burn. Chester, Wilson, and Lily. Lily, Wilson, and Chester. That's the way it was. And then Victor moved into the neighborhood. Da, da, da. Alright, well, that's the vlog for today. I will see you all tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye.